When people imagine Christian Europe, they picture towering cathedrals, medieval monks, and white marble statues. But hidden beneath all of that is a missing chapter, a chapter written by Africans. Africans who defended Christianity when emperors opposed them. Africans who shaped the theology taught in European universities. Africans whose lives inspired monks from Italy to Ireland. And even Africans who became popes in Rome itself. For centuries, Europeans honored these saints. Statues of them were raised in cathedrals. Their writings filled libraries. Their stories shaped the spiritual DNA of Europe. This is the forgotten history of the African saints and missionaries who helped build European Christianity. Our journey begins in the 4th century in what is now Algeria. Here, a boy named Augustine grew up in a world of North African culture, Roman politics, and philosophical debate. He explored many beliefs, searching, questioning, struggling, until he finally embraced Christianity. From the African city of Hippo, Augustine wrote books that changed the world. His works, like Confessions and the City of God, shaped medieval European theology, Western philosophy, the education systems of the Middle Ages, the political ideas of kings and scholars. For over 1,000 years, European universities taught Augustine at the highest level. But Augustine was not European. He was an African bishop whose ideas laid the foundation of Western Christianity. Next, we travel east to Egypt, to the ancient city of Alexandria. Here lived Athanasius, the man Europe later called Athanasius against the world. During a great crisis known as Arianism, Athanasius defended the belief that Christ was truly divine. Powerful leaders tried to silence him. Emperors exiled him 5 times, but he refused to compromise. While in exile, Athanasius found refuge in Europe, in Rome and Gaul. There he taught monks and inspired Christian communities. His writings shaped the Nicene Creed, recited in churches across the world today. Without this Egyptian bishop, much of Christian Europe's doctrine would look very different. Deep in the Egyptian desert lived a man whose transformation touched continents, Saint Moses the Black. Once a warrior and bandit, Moses turned to God and became a monk. His spiritual teachings on humility, discipline, and forgiveness spread far beyond Africa. European monks cherished the writings of the Desert Fathers. Among these, Moses's teachings helped shape the rule of Saint Benedict, the foundation of most medieval monasteries. From quiet Irish monasteries to Italian scriptoria, this African monk's wisdom guided generations of European Christians. One of the most honored saints in medieval Europe was not a king, not a monk, but a black African general from Egypt, Saint Maurice. Maurice led the Theban Legion, a Christian military unit from Upper Egypt. When ordered to persecute innocent people, Maurice and his soldiers refused, choosing faith over violence. They were executed for their stand. Europe never forgot them. From the 10th century onward, Maurice became the patron saint of Germany, Switzerland, and parts of France. Medieval art portrayed him as clearly African, wearing knightly armor. Emperors carried his relics. Cathedrals were dedicated in his name. Maurice was celebrated as the model of courage, loyalty, and Christian virtue. A black African saint became one of medieval Europe's most beloved heroes. Few people know that early Europe was guided by African leadership in the highest office of the Church. 3 early popes were of African origin. Pope Victor I, the first pope to make Latin the official language of the Church, shaping Europe's liturgy and scholarship. Pope Miltiades led the Church during the end of Roman persecution and helped bring Christianity into the public arena. Pope Gelasius V defined the relationship between church and state, influencing medieval European politics for centuries. These African popes helped form the structure, authority, and traditions of the church that Europe grew upon. In the 16th century, long after the Desert Fathers, another African saint shaped European spirituality, Benedict the Moor. Born to enslaved parents in Sicily, Benedict rose from a humble shepherd to a respected Franciscan monk. People traveled from across Italy to seek his wisdom and prayers. After his death, miracles were reported, and he became one of Southern Europe's most beloved saints. His legacy spread through Spain and into Latin America. Benedict's story shows that African influence in European Christianity did not end in antiquity. It continued into the Renaissance and beyond. If Africa shaped so much of Europe's Christianity, why do few people know this today? Several reasons. Over centuries, artists slowly whitened African saints in paintings. Colonial narratives minimized African contributions. European textbooks simplified church history into a European-only story. The decline of Christianity in North Africa led to Europe forgetting its roots. But manuscripts, cathedrals, and ancient art still preserve the truth, a truth that cannot be erased. From Augustine, the African philosopher who shaped Western thought, to Athanasius, the Egyptian who defended Christian beliefs, to Moses the Black, whose desert wisdom formed Europe's monastic life, to Maurice, the Black Knight honored by emperors, to African popes who led the church in Rome, to Benedict the Moor, a humble saint of Sicily. The fingerprints of Africa are everywhere in Europe's Christian foundations. This history does not change Europe. It completes it. African saints didn't merely influence Christianity, they helped build it. And now their voices, once forgotten, are rising again.